Today I have two Ducatis, two life choices that could possibly lead to me going to either jail or having a really fun afternoon. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Actually, I have a new way to keep myself out of jail in the Ducati V4, and I'm going to show you guys something real quick. So while I was out in California, Max Wrist, a famous motorcyclist here on YouTube, gave me this little sticker, this little slow down sticker. That is not my only strategy to keep myself out of jail today. As you can see, the speedometer for this bike, stock, is all the way up there in the top right corner. But this is one of my favorite new features about the Ducati V4 my last one did not have. If you hold down this little mode switch right here, it'll bring up this menu. We hold down the race mode button, and look at that! Where'd the speedometer go? No, the speedometer is actually behind, right here, behind the sticker. So, whenever I'm riding with this bike, when I'm in race mode, it's fastest mode. When this bike can go its fastest and have its full capabilities, there's no way you can tell how fast I'm going. Now, of course, this isn't totally foolproof. I mean, if I post a video of myself doing 200 miles an hour on this bike, I think the cops would be pretty easy to know how fast I'm going. At that point, you could probably do some like complex math and be like, oh, this tree is here, this tree is here. How fast do you travel between those two trees? And then calculate that distance and figure out how fast I was going. My point is, it's probably just best not to post yourself speeding. However, this could help me in cases where this bike gets a little bit too out of hand and I just don't catch it or something. Or if there's a situation where I'm going like 5 over, I'm not really too worried about something like that. I doubt a cop would care if you're going 5 over, but just for peace of mind, hey, it's nice. This is an extremely cold start in a 2025 Ducati Panigale V4. I'm still not used to saying 2025 on my videos. So me and Eve, the person I'm dating, if you don't know, we just filmed a little skit and now we're gonna go get some food. But Eve seems to think that they could beat me to the place that we're getting food, and so I'm giving them a head start and see if they can beat me. Oh, Eve's gone. We got a little bit of catching up to do. I am not letting Eve beat me to the great place. I see more motorbikes ahead. What are those? We got an Adventure KTM, it looks like. It's some sort of cruiser. Oh, it's a BMW GS something, whatever. I don't know, sport touring. Oh, she almost hit the back of that car. That was crazy. I saw the panic brake at the last second. Nah, Eve's a good driver. I've been with them a few times. They've taken me on a few trips here and there. We went to the art museum one time. They drove me there because my truck was too big to fit in the parking garage. They're a good driver, actually, surprisingly. Confirms my theory that they're a very, like, conscious, a very aware person, not empty-headed. Which is something I look for in a person that I date. I was waiting for it to open up the 2 lanes for about approximately 0.5 seconds so I could pass and be like, haha, I'm faster. Dude, go faster. Oh my god. These people are like 5 miles an hour, dude. I can't see my speedometer because I blinked it out because I'm a hooligan. But I know this is definitely not the speed limit, bro. You're going well under. Let's go, people. Let's go. Well, I still technically beat you. I was waiting for it to open up the 2 lanes so I could pass you. Did I break the law?
I'm reporting you.
No, you got me. I'm going to jail now. No. All of my efforts to not go to jail. Look at my delicious crepe that got delivered and Eve's nothing. That's always a beautiful way to start my day. But it is already 1 p.m. and I'm really trying to meet up with my boys later, so anyway, so my plan today is I wanted to do a Q&A. This is a video that a lot of people have been asking me to do for quite a while. The hardest part about riding on a really nice day and trying to do a Q&A is I have to do a lot of little stops to try to check for questions. But so I asked you guys over on Instagram, I was like, hey, hit me with some questions. I'm doing a Q&A for YouTube, and I thought I'd answer some questions that people commonly have about me. The first thing that I see on my list of questions that I have today, this is actually from my friend Trey, but he's asking me to host a meet this year, and this was something that I saw commonly throughout this list. Why don't I host motorcycle meets? Well, it just comes down to, if you guys have been paying attention to like the ghost meets that are happening over the winter, and just like these general motorcycle meets, they end up promoting a lot of hooliganism, and unfortunately, some people have lost their lives at some of these motorcycle meets. Crazy, I know. Motorcycling is a really dangerous hobby and it causes some people to get hurt, and I just don't want to be associated or become responsible for that. I think a lot of these meets dodge responsibility and I don't agree with it, and so I don't want to become part of that problem. It creates an environment where somebody can get hurt and I don't want to feel responsible for that. I feel it would be hypocritical in my own head if I started hosting meets, somebody got hurt, and then somehow like it's just not worth it. This question, if you could say one thing to Bike Talk woman, what would it be? This was actually a question that me and Eve were giggling about while we were eating. So if you guys want to get a really cool makeup holder for your motorcycle, I'm joking. I have to say I'm joking. It's kind of like, what do you want me to say? I think everything that I could say would apply to men as well. There's like not really a lot of like men or women specific things when it comes to motorcycle. It's not like a gender separated hobby. Anybody can do it and everybody could be very equal at it. Eve did bring up the interesting point. So Eve's not really that into motorcycles as far as I can tell, but they do get a lot of motorcycle stuff on their Instagram and stuff because of me, and they're talking to me about how like there's a certain pressure that girls have to wear motorcycle gear, because if you ever see like a video of a girl, you know, she's driving without motorcycle gear on, she's got leggings on, and if you scroll through the comments, it's like, every comment's just like, oh, no gear, no opinion, or whatever. But yet you see a dude popping a wheelie with a hoodie on, and all the comments are like, whoa, oh my god, that's so cool. Now, motorcycle gear is a good thing. Like, I think everybody should wear it, but there definitely is like an unfair, reasonable expectation for a woman to always be like in full leather for some reason. Even though everybody rides without gear, let's be honest. We all done it. But he without sin cast the first stone, you know what I mean? I got no right to talk. Ooh. There we go. Only $11 to fill up the tank today. Gas is really cheap today. So this was a genre of question I saw happening a lot. What's with the hate on you? How do you feel about the criticism? How do you deal with the hate? I'm going to be real with you. Criticism and hate, that just comes with posting yourself online. Humans are generally like a very hateful or, you know, uncomfortable species. And to be honest with you, if I couldn't deal with it, I would not be posting online. I deal with criticism and hate because I know I'm usually right. There's going to be some idiot out there, somebody who doesn't disagree with you. In some cases, they might agree with you on something. They just misunderstand what you're trying to say or misinterpret it in their own way because it's the internet. People are just mindlessly scrolling on the toilet. You know, they're not sitting down to have an actual philosophical talk about things. So they just interpret it in their own way and they comment something mean, so it fires off dopamine in their head. And if you let that bother you, then I think it's more of a dig on you than the person who's actually doing it. Also, with a lot of things that I post, some of it's just straight up satire. Like, I posted a video like, oh, quit calling me Motomoo, quit tagging me in his videos. You realize I was joking. I was joking on TikTok. Jesus Christ. The top comment of TikTok, like, it has me so worried about the future of humanity, bro. You guys not understand basic sarcasm. We're cooked, dude. Another way I try to frame it in my head is just like, a lot of the criticism is just stupid. Comment I see on a lot of my videos is just like, oh, you talk too much. You talk too much. You say too many words in your videos. Shut up and listen to the bikes more. It's like, if you wanted a channel that you just want to listen to bikes ripping up and down highways and such, there's already a million videos out there. You know why? Because it takes zero skill, zero personality to do that. It requires no sacrifice on your part to just sit there and go, look at me, I'm on a bike, I'm on social media. I would assume and I would hope that people watch me, for the entertainment, for the people. That's what got me into bikes in the first place. So my best advice to you, if you're trying to get into bikes, don't let the people telling you that you suck at riding or yada yada, like, don't let those people bring you down because they're stupid. They're not worth your time, effort, or energy. The only way you could get better at riding is to do it. Keep putting seat time down whenever the weather gets nice out. I don't know. And if you got something to say it. Don't let people silence you, because if you're not proud of it, then that sucks, and people can probably tell. This is a spot I came right after my accident. I remember I went on a solo ride on my Ducati 698. It was a very sad day indeed. I just remember riding around. It was the end of fall. It was starting to get very cold out. Kind of like it is right now. It's very cold out, but at least it's spring. We have a whole summer to look forward to. This spot is pretty much as ugly as it was as I remember. I was hoping to see a little bit more of the valley, but oh well. How many times have you and Jigsaw made out? Oh my god, they're onto us, bruh. Bruh, they're onto us. We gotta cut it out. We can't do any more collabs. They're gonna figure out we love each other and we do all the goodies. That actually leads me to another question I saw somewhere on this list, but people were asking me like, oh, who's your favorite motovlogger? And it probably would be Jigsaw, for the reason I was just talking about. He has a lot of personality. More personality than 99.9% of the motovloggers out there. That's why he's kept his, actually, I think his viewership has gone up ever since he stopped posting like the Go Fast, the Fast Boy stuff, because he's been showing off more of his personality, and his personality is insanely likable. People like Jigsaw. I like Jigsaw. I like hanging out with him, and so it's like, that's why I watch him. I think I watch every single one of his videos, dude. He's a really entertaining guy, and he's got a lot to say and a lot of really interesting opinions, I think. I'm not going to say all of them are correct, but I love watching them. Something you hate in people, and people say I'm the one who's so negative all the time. Some of these questions are insanely negative. What do I hate about people? I don't know. Ego is always going to be the number one killer, I think, in everybody, including myself. People, like, a lot of the bad things in the world, or people say negative things because of their own ego, and then people respond to it negatively because of their own ego. And of course I'm a victim of this, dude. I understand it. I'm trying to get better at it, but ego is the number one destroyer of everything and everyone. What would you say is the corniest thing about the bike community right now? Oh, this is going to be an interesting question. I say it's an interesting question because a lot of people are probably going to say me. I've been seeing this phrase being thrown around like clout riders. People just ride just for clout. And I think that phrase implies a little bit more complexity to it than what meets the eye. See, I would define clout riding as probably somebody who makes motorcycle content without owning a motorcycle. It's kind of like being straight and making a video about how being gay makes you feel. Like, you can't do that. You can't make a video talking about motorcycles or motorcycle culture if you don't participate in the hobby. There's some hills up here I might be able to catch air on, I think. This thing is too fast for its own good, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm not catching air. I've been telling myself on these bigger bikes, bro, 2 wheels on the ground. I'm not Jigsaw Bro. I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm not going to try to be like him. You'd be surprised about how many people on social media probably act like they're bikers. Perhaps they even own a motorcycle, but don't actually put that many miles on their motorcycle. God, it looks so beautiful, man. Oh, I love spring. Like, I've met some motorcycle influencers. I'm not going to say who, but if you go back and look at every single collab I've ever done, there's been a few people that don't actually ride. I'm not trying to start any pointless drama, but it's just kind of like there are a couple of motorcycle influencers out there that I know for a fact don't actually ride their bike, and then will still go out there and try to give advice on their bike like they do. I mean, I'm not totally exempt from that. You know, I've definitely given out some motorcycle advice before. Meanwhile, I'm not as good of a rider as I thought I was. Jesus, too much power for its own good, man, I'm telling you. Slow down, public street. You just gotta be ready to react to those types of things whenever you see a car creeping out. The best way you can tell if a car is gonna pull out in front of you or not is watch its front tires. You can see its front tires starting to move or turn. You know he's probably gonna try to pull out. I saw a motorcycle TikTok video of someone saying like, oh, I only use my rear brake, and everybody who says use your front brake is stupid. And I couldn't tell if it was rage bait or not, but it was seemingly from somebody who just started riding. And so I could just tell, like, they had just started posting, they were on like a beginner bike, and I'm like, okay, this is all signs that point to this being like, this is someone who's being serious. And I really wanted to like make a video about it, be like, no, this is incorrect. It had like 10,000 likes. I was like, this is horrible advice. I just decided against it because, again, people were like, oh, you're picking on people. But it's like, no, I'm trying to give good advice here. I don't even use my rear brake at all. I keep my foot like up here on the balls of my feet. The only time you should be using your rear brake is like slow movement maneuvers, or if you're like on the track and actually know what you're doing.
I found this lovely little spot we could sit and talk for a little bit, except it is quite crowded, so maybe not too long. I don't like people, if you can't tell. A really good question I saw was, what are my plans after graduation? As I've made it a point in a few of my videos, I'm a college student. I'm currently in my senior year, and I'm almost done with my graduation. So finally, I can be done with the crap that is college. I disagree with the way that college works, the way that it is set up, the way that you have to sit in class, study a little bit, regurgitate information on homeworks and tests and whatnot. I don't feel like I'm learning much from that, and I feel like that I learn more from like things like YouTube, podcasts. I learn a lot more on my own when I'm studying topics that genuinely interest me, because the topics that genuinely interest me tend on helping me in life a little bit better and become a better person. That being said, I still believe that college is a very important thing, and that the pursuit of education is a very good thing. And you should go to college. But at the same time, don't let college be the extent of your learning career.
Check this out. Let's get another question. 400, you're killing it. He's killing the streets. He's going fast. Favorite bike that you still don't own? I'm going to be a little controversial here and kind of go against some of the things I've said in the past. To be honest, I do miss owning a BMW S1000 RR. I'm going to get into it. So one of the biggest things holding me back from buying another BMW is the distrust in the dealer system. As you guys know, I owned one last year, had a bunch of problems with it. I documented it pretty well over the course of last summer, and I ended up selling it to somebody that I know, and he's been having further problems with it, so he was like, hey, it's probably a good thing to get rid of it. But yeah, the BMW is just, I've had bad ownership experience, but the one thing that I really miss about the BMW S1000 RR is the buttery smooth wheelies, dude. The fact I was just able to go and pop up on it, it was so butter, and I miss it. It's like, popping wheelies on a bike like this scares me, because this thing's like riding a bull. It's a lot more fun to ride, but you guys can probably tell I'm a little bit nervous riding this thing. The S1000 just like turns you into a superhero. I don't know what it is about that bike. Another thing holding me back from buying that bike is it's an influencer bike. It's a bike that anybody can hop on with any varying level of skill level and ride it pretty proficiently. So it tricks people into thinking that they're better riders than they are, like myself. It's the influencer bike, dude. I don't want to come off as that. I buy the Ducatis because they're dope. They're full of character. I don't just buy them because they're like flex bikes. I guess they're not. They require a lot more skill than the BMWs. I don't know. I would love to buy another one, but also just money. Another bike that I really want to own that's like very much not an influencer bike whatsoever, but it interests me to no end, is the Buell, to be honest with you. An 1190, the Buell, the American-made sport bike. They're fascinating bikes. I got to ride one for a little bit when I was in California last time. It is a 180 horsepower leader bike with a direct throttle connection cable throttle. It's a lot of money for what it is. I think I would rather own the Buell before the BMW. I think the Buell would be a lot more interesting to own, and it'd be kind of cool to have a bike that nobody else has, kind of like the R6. But yeah, it's just one of those bikes. It's just out there. I don't know. It's tough to pull the trigger on that one. I just realized I never finished that question. Like, what are my plans after graduation? So, what are my plans after graduation? Got a little ADHD there, I guess. I think this is probably going to be the last question that I answer today. I think we've been talking a lot, and this is probably the last one that I think a lot of people asked. I don't know. I really don't know. Like every 20-something-year-old ever. Being in your 20s is really confusing because I don't know what I want to do with my life. I know I want to help people. My dad's a fireman. My mom's a nurse. Both of them help people on a daily basis. They help save lives. What do? I ride motorcycles. I get hurt and then consume resources from hospitals. It's just, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my life, but I want to feel like I'm helping. I want to feel like I'm helping people. And potentially, if I hit graduation, I think I seriously need to look at like my channel and my page and like TikTok and Instagram and seriously ask myself, like, am I helping people? Like, am I helping people in some capacity? That's a police officer of the law right there. He's killing it. I'm going to seriously evaluate with myself and be like, yeah, is what I'm doing helping people? Is it like be a positive influence in the world? And if not, if I gauge with myself and I seriously sit down with myself, I'm like, yeah, this is not working out. I don't know. I've been thinking about signing up for taking the fire test, potentially be like my dad, be a fireman, like physically know that you're helping people in some capacity. Can I do more good doing that than I am doing this? Maybe. I don't know. I'm also like kind of figuring out what makes me happy and what doesn't. I've learned quite a while ago, money doesn't make me happy. I could be making 10x what I'm making right now and still be miserable. Like, that's not what solves my problem. Eve is somebody that makes me very happy, and they're a very simple person. I don't think they necessarily really like the social media life too much, and I would kind of agree with them. The flashy, the TikTokness of it, the watch bait, the crazy like shirt off, like that's not them. And I don't think that's really who I am deep down either. Perhaps a simple life is a happy life. I don't know. I still love my bikes though. These bikes are me in every single which way possible. But buying more bikes, buying fancier bikes, buying crazier bikes, like I don't know if that's really me forever, now and forever. I just hope one day I'm rich enough to be able to buy a house, potentially have a family. I don't know. Or not. I don't, wherever life takes me. Jesus, it's a whole new, a separate problem than what I was dealing with last year. Like last year, I was so depressed. Guilt, admittedly. I was sad because I was losing hope in finding someone that made me happy. As goofy and cliche as it sounds, I was just like, wow. Like I was dating a few people that would not making me happy. I was constantly, I knew what I wanted to find in a person, and that honestly what Eve has. This intelligence, this ability that I could go back and forth with them on things. They're intelligent. I love having conversations with Eve. But before I met them, I was lost. The only people I found that were like that were usually depressed as like me. It's like this brain overthinking itself into spiraling depression. Oftentimes I found myself being the happier one, and it's just like, it's not what I wanted. The thing that makes Eve special is they're like that complex brain thinker. They have that crazy brain of theirs going all the time, but they're most oftentimes happier than I am. I don't know how they do it. I'm just learning to be like them. Oh my god, I need to increase the engine braking. Dude, I'm trying to wave to you, but I'm also trying to concentrate on my corners. Look at that special motorcycle parking. She really is such a pretty butt. I mean, look at that thing, dude. That thing's sexy. Probably should check radar. Those clouds don't look friendly. Maybe they're just nighttime clouds. Man, I hate living in Ohio. You just never know. Oh boy, the hooligans are here. Oh yay. About time.
Dude, I forgot to film an outro. We rode a lot today. I think I was out from like 10 a.m. all the way to, what is it, like 9 p.m. now? It's a ridiculous amount of time to be riding. But this was my whole goal with the V4 this year, was to ride that bike as much as possible. And believe it or not, even though it's only April, I'm already 1/3 of the way to how many miles that my old V4 had. I've been saying the whole goal with the new V4 is to ride it more than the last one. And so far, we're making good progress. So make sure you guys stick around for the next video because I got something interesting for the next one. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.